right, and welcome back. And we are back with the next episode. We are going to be talking about some just um, random topics here and there, not soccer this episode, but we're going to talk about the UFC and the most recent card.
Football.
Sorry?
It's football.
I'm sorry. We are not to be talking about football this episode, but we will be talking about the most recent UFC card, the Masters, and how one person choked it and one person played amazingly. The Mavericks missing the playoffs, the Chicago Bulls, the MVP prediction, and Jamie's team Intercity. So,
Yep,
I did not watch the UFC this past weekend, but I know you did. You went over to a buddy's house, saw the fights. So, could you tell me how
I
that
did.
was?
So my game was Saturday afternoon about 5 p.m. So I didn't stay the whole night because I got really tired because I got a lot of sun. B-boy. Um, but yeah, I watched some UFC uh, for like the first time ever. Um, One of my friends made fun of me because after about 2 minutes of watching it, he said my face looked like I'd never watched UFC before. Apparently, I just had my mouth open. I was a bit like, whoa. So I watched the first three fights. The first one was Paul Rosas versus Christian Rodriguez. Paul Rosas was undefeated at 7-0, 18-year-old Mexican. And let me tell you something about all these UFC guys. They're ugly. They're all ugly. They all their faces are all smashed in. So they got nothing to lose. And this Mexican guy, he was ugly. So he had nothing to lose, right? Well, he went with a really weird strategy. It looked like he was trying to cuddle the whole time. So he lost because the other guy just resisted the cuddling for long enough, and then like some of those hits were nasty. Like he was elbowing him in the chest, like straight
Oh,
punch to the face. It was bad. Second
yeah.
fight, Kevin Holland versus Santiago Ponzinibbio. Um, Kevin Holland won because he had a longer reach. Before the game, we all chose. I chose Kevin Holland because I'm goaded like that, and I should have put money on it. They were doing some betting, but I decided against it. But I picked Kevin Holland because he had like a 7 or 8 inch advantage on his arm length. Is that the
On
is
his
that
wingspan.
the right word?
Wingspan.
Wingspan. So he just had enough kicks to the face, and eventually won by knockout. And then the last one we watched was Rafa versus Adrian Yanez. Adrian Yanez was the big time favorite, and he got knocked out in the first round through 2 minutes and 57 seconds. So
Wow.
all around good fight. I'll watch some more UFC. I missed the main card, and it looks like there was a knockout in the final one, but
I
I
will
missed that.
say,
But
I didn't watch the fight, but I heard a coworker talking about the Jorge Masvidal fight and how
mhm.
Masvidal called it quits and wanted to retire there. And
Yeah, that guy currently retired.
but he did say one last thing. I want to shout out my guy Donald Trump. You're the best president ever. He
Yeah,
did
oh, that's
say
what I was
that.
gonna say.
Yeah,
Donald Trump was in the front row. Now, I'm not gonna get make this political or anything. He's
yeah.
currently being charged with felonies, whether he's gonna be convicted or not, whatever,
Surprised he's at a
whatever.
UFC fight.
Right? He's front row at a UFC fight. It was the funniest thing. Sometimes you just see these guys beating the crap out of each other, and there's just Donald Trump sitting there. And I thought to myself, could you imagine Joe Biden if he was just sitting on the other side? How funny that would be.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
But
He would. He'd be you. He'd be you at the actual event.
be like, whoa.
That'd be
But yeah,
crazy.
that's the UFC. Uh, Tell me about the Masters. I watched like 4 holes, and I was like, but live golfers and PGA Tour golfers could both play at the
I know.
Masters. I thought it was just PGA,
No, they
but
recently
it's separate.
allowed the live players to play the. At least from what I know, my
The
father
four
told me at
majors,
least
right?
the four majors, not the actual
Yeah.
regular tournaments yet. But
Mm-hmm.
I was also talking to another colleague of mine. I didn't know because I didn't watch the first and second rounds. The last two rounds were on the same day
Mm-hmm.
on Easter. The first
Mm-hmm.
round apparently was beautiful. John Rahm. This is a comparison with weather. John Rahm
Yeah.
hit a 300-yard drive day one,
Mm-hmm.
and that dropped down to a
Wow.
230-yard drive round two. The wind changed drastically, and everybody's scores they were hitting bogeys, double bogeys, everybody. It was
Yeah, I
just
saw the scores were quite low.
crazy. Brooks, though, first 3 rounds, he won. Then that fourth round, it
Choked
was
it.
same day, choked it. He was negative 14, maybe 13, I want to say, in the lead by 5 strokes. He went down to negative 8,
Mm-hmm.
and
Okay.
Sean Ram, I
Got to
believe,
negative 10,
was
right?
he was negative 12. He finished on. He gained, I think, 4 strokes. I believe he started the day at negative 8. Or started the round at negative 8 and won it.
He started at -9, he ended at -12.
Okay, and he won it. And second ever major to win, first ever Masters. So congratulations to John Rahm.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say, quick shout out to Phil Mickelson.
I was gonna say I could see him in second place, tied
Second
for
place.
second.
Apparently, the past 5 years he's been
-7
awful.
on the last day.
Yeah, past 5 years he's been awful. And 52-year-old second at the Masters, unheard of basically. Just
Yeah, Phil
quick
Mixon
congratulations to him.
was amazing. Go.
Yeah.
Shout out to Matt Fitzpatrick, the Brit, in 10th place. Let's go.
All right.
Let's go.
All right there.
I gotta shout out my Brits. You know how it is.
Okay. Okay. Um.
But
But
yeah,
yeah.
just a quick little snippet on the NBA because you don't know too much, and I haven't been watching too much this season. I'm going to a little bit more now that we're into the playoffs. But the big team missing the playoffs was the Dallas Mavericks after trading for Kyrie, seemingly to go all in on this season. They have missed the playoffs. In fact, benching their players against the Chicago Bulls in the second to last game of the season when they needed to win to have a chance at making the play in, but that would have just been the 10th seed. So it looks like there's some obvious tanking going on, and the league is investigating because Jason Kidd, the head coach, basically said, we tanked. So that was a bit stupid of him. But Luka Doncic and Kyrie, after trading away probably their best defensive player in Dorian Finley-Smith, really made the team suffer defensively. And it'll be interesting to see how the Mavericks move from here because they do have a lottery pick, though, and they haven't had a lottery pick high of a lottery pick since Doncic. So maybe they'll get some good talent next to him, which is young talent, which is what they need. Otherwise, Doncic won't spend his whole career there. But
Yeah.
moving on to my Chicago Bulls, who made the play-in. Vucevic played all 82 games, same as Patrick Williams. We're really just mid, but Patrick Beverly is fun to watch and fun to have on your team
It's
because he's
true.
just a little, he's one of those players you want on your team, but you don't want to play against.
Yeah.
Not that he's good, he's just annoying.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
shout
Get
out to
that.
my Bulls for playing the Toronto Raptors. A terrible matchup for us. We're probably going to lose, but it's what it is. Just once it comes back, I'll care again. And then MVP prediction for someone who hasn't watched. Have you watched a single minute of basketball this season?
Nope.
All right. Are you voting Jokic for third straight MVP,
He won two
the worst
MVPs in a
defensive
row.
player? Yeah, this
Oh
will be his third
wow.
straight. He and the Nuggets, let me pull up NBA standings so I can review records. He averages nearly 50 points a game combined in assists and points, the most in the NBA. Joel Embiid, who I think is the scoring leader, and then Giannis. And the Bucks finished 58 and 24. 76ers 58 and 54 and 28, and the Nuggets finished 53 and 29 top Western
Who won?
Conference.
Was it the Bucks that
Who do
won
you
last
give
year?
MVP to?
Was it the Bucks that won last year, or no?
The oh shoot,
Or am I this out of
oh
touch with the
shoot,
NBA?
Warriors.
It was the
They beat the
Warriors. I'm
Celtics.
sorry about that. But before
We
that, it
watched
was the
that
Bucks.
together.
Yeah, before that, it
Yes, they
was the
beat the
Bucks.
Suns.
Um, I'll give it to Embiid.
I want to see Jokic win it 3 straight years. I think it'd be
Yeah, to see the
to
dude
have a
that looks like
three-time winner
to,
when you
to see the dude that looks like a bag of milk win it 3 years in a row.
the least athletic dude in the NBA.
Yeah.
Athletic looking, I should say.
Oh yeah,
Obviously,
yeah.
he's an absolute beast,
He
but
looks like
you know,
I'm brain farting. The Cleveland Cavaliers, white guy, Kevin something.
Kevin Love,
Yeah, Kevin Love before he got fit.
he plays for the Heat. Yeah, this season he's averaged 24 points a game on 63% shooting, 38% from three, 11 rebounds, and 9.8 assists. He was a second round pick.
Wow.
Second round pick. But yeah. Well, next time we'll have to ask Stephen A. Smith his opinion too. We'll get him on as a guest and we'll ask him what he thinks. But um, last little thing, I guess, can be on Intercity FC versus Chargers. We drew 2-2 against the technically Lakewood Ranch Chargers, but technically Clearwater Chargers. I think they're the same club, but that's where the team is
I
at.
see.
Um, we 10 minutes into the game because a right back by the name of Jamie Thomas gave away the ball in the opposing box,
Oh
and they countered it,
no.
scored. But it gets okay. I took it personally, and I got the assist for our first goal. And then I went on a giant run down the side of the field where you could hear my teammates chanting "Kala Messi, Kala Messi, Kala Messi" as I was running. That's a pretty cool moment.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, and then I'll send you the clip after this. And then we got a second one back because after I brought the ball all the way up the field, we recycled the ball around and sent it across and scored it. So I brought the ball all the way up, we recycled it, and put it back in the box and scored to make it 2-1. And then they got a red card for spraying at the referee. So 2-1, going to half, they're a man down. You can't mess it up, right?
Yeah.
Coaches tell us to calm the game down. We lose all of our momentum. It doesn't feel like we're ever playing against 10 men. We just sit back. We don't keep the ball, and we start playing hero ball. And we never score, never get close. Or not never get close. We don't take our chances. A terrible, terrible penalty is called as the bad refereeing from the weekend continues. And really, the standards of the UPSL are probably the same as the Premier League at this point. But they convert a penalty with about 10 minutes to go, and the game ends 2-2, and feels like a loss. I called it a 2-2 loss because in
Yeah.
that situation, we should have been grabbing our first ever win club. But
Point to point though.
yeah, exactly. That's what I was telling coach afterwards because he screamed at us, and I was like, we've never won a game. The fact that we drew is still a big deal. But
Yeah.
yeah, thank you for listening about Intercity, although no one probably cares.
Oh,
I'm
I
still
do.
the
Don't
all-time
worry about
appearance
it.
holder, 15 appearances. If you're interested, I got a game in Lakeland next weekend. So
Lakeland? How
it's
far away is that from Bradenton?
2.5 hours from me.
We can
At
keep
7:15.
we can keep touch.
Yeah, yeah. You probably won't. That's fine.
If there's any,
But we do have a game.
let me know about games closer. Cause I will say, just real
There
quick
will be
before
one.
we end, I went to my little brother's soccer game too.
Mm.
He's only 11. They won the game 1-0, but the ref again to go along with the bad refereeing sided with the other
The
team.
standards. The
The
standards.
standards are awful. He was fist pumping the other kids, and to a bunch of 11-year-olds, he was calling, "You have to keep both feet down over the head every time,
Well, yeah.
even when they're half an inch off the ground with one foot." They're 11,
Hey,
and
rules are the rules.
they only called it against my brother's team, and he called a handball against a little girl who hit it off of her chest, and he said he hit it off her hands, and I yelled at the ref. I will admit, I yelled at the ref.
Peak dad moment.
Thank you.
Good,
Except
good
I'm not a
stuff.
dad,
Good
I'm a brother.
stuff. Good job. But that wraps it up. Thank you for everyone for joining us on the Sideline Debrief. I hope you enjoyed these little snippets. We tried to put a bit more comedy in it because sometimes I think we can be a bit dry. So the UFC, the Donald Trump in the front row, the Brits Koepka Master Disaster Class,
Yeah,
uh, Doncic probably leaving the Mavericks, the Chicago Bulls being the greatest playing team in NBA history, Jokic winning his third straight MVP, and Intercity disappointing once again,
yeah.
and Ethan being peak dad. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you guys next week.
Yep, see ya.
Peace.